Okay, here is one of the herb gardens, and this is the first year, so a lot of these herbs that are planted are perennial and they're going to get quite bigger next year. So that's why there are some spaces. See right here we have some sage and there's space around it because this is going to get pretty big and fill out. The chamomile is going to get really big, and so all this space around here will be filled out next year. So I did plant a few annuals here to fill in a little bit of this space, but then next year this should be all pretty much filled out with just perennial herbs. So one of the herbs that I think is important and easy to grow in the garden is oregano. Right here. Oregano is a perennial, so it comes back bigger and stronger every year. It repels common garden pests like mosquitoes, cucumber beetles, and it also attracts pollinators. Later on this will flower and attract pollinators. It's from the Mediterranean, so it's very drought tolerant. It does well in dry, rocky soil, poor soil. It's also frost tolerant. So it's something pretty easy to grow, and I love perennials because you plant them once and they just come back bigger and stronger each year. It's also very good, has a lot of health benefits. So it's an antibacterial. It has a lot of phytonutrients, what they call in plants, that help fight infections, like antioxidants. It's got excellent source of fiber, vitamin K, iron, vitamin E, calcium. There's been some studies that oregano oil, which is not this plant, but it's taken from the plant. Oregano oil has been shown effective in fighting drug-resistant bacterial infections like staph when combined with silver nanoparticles. So that is very encouraging that these herbs are showing up in finally doing some medical studies on them and showing how helpful they are. It's also been found to be useful to help regulate diabetes. It's good for digestive health, respiratory problems. It's helped to reduce candida overgrowth. You can use it for insect bites. Really, the list goes on and on. It helps reduce inflammation and autoimmune disease. There's just so many uses for this herb. And so that's why I think this is one to definitely grow in your garden and to just eat at culinary or with a tea, or you can actually buy oregano oil from a reputable source. Lemon balm is a perennial, so it keeps coming back bigger and stronger every year. It smells so good. It'd be fun to have in a kid's garden because they can just rub it and smell how good, or just taste it straight from the leaf. It's in the mint family, so it grows very quickly, and that's why I have this one planted in a container. Otherwise, it'll take over your whole garden space. So if you haven't really started gardening and just looking to start something off easily, I recommend trying lemon balm because it does well in containers on a balcony, and it's very, very easy and quick to grow. It repels ants, flies, and mosquitoes, so it's another reason to have it on your garden. Although, I'm sitting here looking, and right down here, what do we have? I lifted up this container, and there we have sugar ants. We have a sugar ant problem. They are all over our property. So I don't think it's doing too well to repel the ants, at least down the bottom of the container. But it's really good you can turn it into a salve and use it on like minor cuts and scrapes, or turn it into a lip balm, and it helps to soothe your lips, but also helps with cold sores. It's a very calming plant, and it can help alleviate stress, anxiety, headaches. If you turn it into make a lemon balm tea, it helps the digestive system and can help relieve bloating and gas. Thyme is another herb I recommend planting in the garden. It is also a perennial, so this will get a lot bigger. It's a very low maintenance plant that attracts pollinators. And it's very good in savory dishes. It's got vitamin A, vitamin C to help with your immune system. And it's been known to help with diarrhea and nausea and even colic for babies. It's antiseptic. It's also antispasmodic, and it's a bronchodilator. So it's very soothing to coughs. And it's been used to help with gingivitis. And many commercially made mouthwashes have, it's called thymol, I think is how you say it, which is the phytonutrient that helps with gingivitis and just good teeth hygiene. So it's good to eat, and it's also good for health benefits. And it's also easy to grow. So I would recommend planting thyme in your garden. Okay, so the next herb I recommend growing in your garden is basil. It's an annual. It's pretty easy to grow. It tastes delicious. Makes a good companion plant for tomatoes because it helps repel tomato hornworms. It works great in containers. You can see I have this and one down here, and I do have some more in the garden. You can make so many things. You can make pesto, you can freeze it to use later in soups, make a basil vinaigrette, or just like tomato basil mozzarella, which is another way I like to have it. And it's got so many good health benefits. It's high in vitamin A, vitamin K, calcium, and it's got some trace minerals like copper and magnesium. And there's many different kinds of basil, and it also helps attract pollinators and keeps the bad pests away. And it's great if you have a balcony or porch or a back deck and just want to do some container gardening. Another plant herb I recommend growing in the garden is holy basil or TULSI. It has so many health benefits. It is ridiculous. Like, this is a must-have for your garden if you're looking to use it for medicinal purposes. Traditionally, it was used in India since ancient times to promote healthy body, mind, and spirit, and they would worship this plant. Now, of course, I am not into worshiping plants. I worship God, our creator, who created these plants to give us. But it's been used in ancient times for centuries to help with many things. Traditionally, in Western medicine, it's been used to, as an adaptogen to help combat stress. Adaptogens are plant-based substances that help your body to just handle stress better. They may help with balancing hormones like cortisol, which is, a stress hormone. And if you're like me, I definitely need to reduce some stress. So this holy basil is a good thing to plant in your garden. There's just so many benefits. It helps with brain function, helps boost immunity, lower inflammation. It can improve your energy, and it's anticoagulant. It's basically antiviral, antibacterial, antifungal, anticoagulant. I mean, this plant is seriously, helps with so many things. This is not intended to diagnose, treat, or cure any diseases. I'm not a doctor or a clinical herbalist, but I love to garden and I love to study how plants can help us in our bodies. I hope that you have found this to be useful for you when you think about what you want to plant in your garden.